The morning sun filtered through the studio windows as the hosts of The View settled into their seats, ready for another episode filled with lively discussions and celebrity guests. Joy Behar, known for her sharp wit and unfiltered opinions, was in high spirits, chatting animatedly with her co-hosts Whoopi Goldberg, Sarah Haynes, Sunny Hostin, and Alyssa Farah-Griffin. The audience buzzed with anticipation, unaware that this ordinary broadcast would soon spiral into chaos. Today's special guest was none other than the acclaimed actor Russell Crowe, promoting his latest film. As the show kicked off, the panel delved into light-hearted topics, from current events to pop culture. Russell entered the stage to thunderous applause, his rugged charm captivating everyone. He shook hands with the hosts, exchanging pleasantries. Joy, ever the provocateur, wasted no time diving into deeper waters. She questioned Russell about his past roles, his views on Hollywood's evolving landscape, and even touched on controversial topics like climate change and politics. Russell responded with his signature gravelly voice, articulate and composed. But beneath the surface, tension simmered. Joy's probing questions grew more pointed, aiming to elicit a strong reaction. Russell, however, remained unflappable, countering with thoughtful insights that subtly challenged Joy's perspectives. The audience sensed the shift, whispers rippling through the crowd. Co-hosts tried to steer the conversation, but Joy persisted, her tone sharpening. Russell's eyes narrowed slightly, a hint of amusement playing on his lips. This was no ordinary interview, it was a brewing storm. As commercials approached, the exchange intensified, setting the stage for what would become a legendary on-air moment. Viewers at home leaned in, captivated by the unfolding drama. Little did they know, the real fireworks were yet to come. The segment resumed with Joy launching into a critique of Russell's recent statements in the press, accusing him of hypocrisy. Russell listened patiently, then delivered a measured response that dismantled her argument piece by piece. The studio fell silent, the weight of his words hanging in the air. Joy's face flushed, her usual confidence wavering. This was the beginning of the end for the segment's harmony. As the discussion heated up, Joy Behar pressed Russell Crowe on his environmental advocacy, contrasting it with his film's production footprint. Russell, drawing from his experiences, explained the complexities of sustainable filmmaking, citing specific initiatives he championed. Joy interrupted, her voice rising, labeling his efforts as mere greenwashing. The co-hosts exchanged glances, sensing the escalating friction. Whoopi attempted to mediate, injecting humor, but Joy was undeterred. Russell leaned forward, his intense gaze locking on to Joy's. With calm precision, he recounted a personal anecdote about his farm in Australia and the real-world impacts of climate denial, a subtle jab at Joy's past comments on the topic. The audience gasped, realizing the depth of his retort. Joy's expression hardened, her retorts becoming more defensive. Sunny Hostin jumped in, supporting Joy, but Russell deftly addressed her points too, maintaining composure. The segment, meant to be promotional, had morphed into a debate arena. Viewers on social media began tweeting furiously, hashtags trending in real time. Back in the studio, the producers watched nervously from the control room, debating whether to cut to commercial early. But the show must go on. Joy, feeling cornered, escalated her attack, questioning Russell's motives in Hollywood. He responded with a smile that didn't reach his eyes, pointing out inconsistencies in The View's own coverage of similar issues. The humiliation was building, layer by layer, as Russell's intellect shone through. Joy's co-hosts tried to diffuse, but the damage was done. The air crackled with tension, every word a potential spark. As the clock ticked, Joy's frustration mounted, her usual banter turning into pointed barbs. Russell, the gladiator of the screen, was now battling on live TV, and he was winning. The audience alternated between cheers and stunned silence. This wasn't just an interview, it was a masterclass in verbal sparring. Joy, typically the one dishing it out, found herself on the receiving end. Her cheeks reddened further, a sign of the brewing eruption. The segment dragged on, each minute amplifying the discomfort. Finally, as Russell delivered a particularly incisive comment, Joy snapped. The pivotal moment arrived when Joy Behar, pushed to her limit, slammed her hand on the table, her voice booming through the studio. "That's enough. "You come here thinking you can lecture us?" she exclaimed, her eyes flashing with anger. Russell Crowe sat back, unfazed, replying coolly, "I'm merely responding to your questions, Joy. If the truth humiliates, perhaps reflect on that." The audience erupted in a mix of applause and boos. The divine clear, Whoopi Goldberg called for calm, but the damage was irreversible. Joy's co-hosts rallied around her, but their support seemed half-hearted amid the chaos. Social media exploded, with clips of the exchange going viral instantaneously. Commentators debated whether Russell's responses were brutal or brilliant. Back on set, Joy's outburst continued, her words tumbling out in a torrent of frustration. She accused Russell of arrogance, of disrespecting the platform. He listened, then offered a poignant rebuttal about the importance of honest dialogue in media. The humiliation was palpable. Joy, the veteran host, appeared diminished in the face of Russell's poise. Producers scrambled, signaling for a commercial break. As the cameras cut away, the studio buzzed with whispers. Viewers at home were glued to their screens, sharing reactions online. This incident would be dissected for weeks, becoming fodder for late-night shows and podcasts. Joy's eruption marked a rare vulnerability, humanizing her in unexpected ways. Russell, ever the professional, shook hands post-segment, but the tension lingered. The View's reputation for fiery debates was solidified, but at what cost? Analysts pondered if this would affect ratings positively or negatively. For Joy, it was a brutal reminder that even icons can be challenged. The event sparked discussions on celebrity interviews and host-guest dynamics. Russell's handling was praised as masterful, turning potential conflict into a teachable moment. Joy, recovering her composure off-air, vowed to address it in future episodes. The day's show concluded amid heightened energy, leaving everyone reflecting on the power of words. In the aftermath of the commercial break, the show resumed with a palpable shift in atmosphere. Joy Behar, still visibly agitated, attempted to regain control, steering the conversation to lighter topics. However, the earlier humiliation lingered like a shadow. Russell Crowe, sensing the unease, graciously pivoted, sharing anecdotes from his career to ease the tension. The co-hosts followed suit, laughing a bit too forcefully at his jokes. Yet, Joy's interjections carried an edge, her pride wounded. Audience members later recounted the awkwardness, noting how the energy had changed. Online, memes proliferated, capturing Joy's expressions and Russell's retorts. Media outlets picked up the story, labeling it the View's most explosive moment. Joy's fans defended her passion, while others applauded Russell's candor. The incident highlighted the fine line between debate and confrontation on live TV. As the segment wrapped, Russell thanked the hosts, receiving warm applause. Offstage, discussions ensued about future guest protocols. For Joy, this was a humbling experience, prompting self-reflection. She later confided to colleagues about the intensity of the exchange. Russell, in interviews, downplayed the drama, emphasizing mutual respect. The event became a case study in communication studies, illustrating how personalities clash under pressure. Viewers debated ethics. Was Joy's approach ambush journalism? Did Russell overstep? The discourse enriched public understanding of media interactions. The View's producers capitalized on the buzz, teasing recaps and promos. Joy's eruption, though brutal, humanized the show, reminding audiences that hosts are fallible. Russell's poise elevated his public image, portraying him as thoughtful beyond his roles. The day's episode achieved record views, proving controversy sells. In hindsight, the humiliation spurred growth for all involved. Joy emerged stronger, incorporating the lesson into her hosting style. Russell continued his promotions, unfazed by the spotlight. The incident faded from headlines but left an indelible mark on daytime TV history. Weeks after the infamous episode, The View addressed the fallout in a dedicated segment. Joy Behar, with her trademark humor, reflected on the brutal humiliation, admitting it caught her off guard. "Russell's a tough nut," she quipped, eliciting laughs from the panel. Co-hosts shared their perspectives, praising both for their authenticity. Russell Crowe, via a video message, expressed no hard feelings, commending Joy's spirit. The reconciliation softened the narrative, turning a negative into a positive. Social media users appreciated the maturity, shifting from outrage to admiration. Analysts noted how such moments boost engagement, keeping the show relevant. Joy's eruption became a symbol of passionate discourse, inspiring similar debates elsewhere. Russell's career saw a subtle uptick, with fans appreciating his intellect. The View's format evolved slightly, incorporating more balanced questioning. Behind the scenes, training sessions emphasized handling intense guests. The incident sparked articles on emotional intelligence in broadcasting. Joy, in interviews, discussed vulnerability, encouraging others to embrace it. Russell focused on philanthropy, using the attention for good. The event's legacy endured, referenced in pop culture. Viewers tuned in more faithfully, eager for unscripted drama. Producers celebrated the ratings spike, planning similar high-profile guests. Joy's resilience shone, proving she's unbreakable. Russell's humility won hearts, solidifying his status. The humiliation, once stinging, became a badge of honor. Discussions on gender dynamics in media arose, with Joy as a focal point. Supporters rallied, sending messages of encouragement. The show's community grew stronger, bonded by the shared experience. In retrospect, the eruption was a catalyst for change, enhancing the View's depth. Joy and Russell's paths crossed again at events, sharing cordial nods. The story, though sensational, underscored humanity in entertainment. As time passed, it faded into anecdote, but its impact lingered. Ultimately, the Joy Behar Eruption saga transcended The View, influencing broader conversations about civility and public discourse. Media experts dissected the exchange, highlighting lessons in active listening and respect. Joy Behar, undeterred, continued her role with renewed vigor, her opinions as bold as ever. Russell Crowe pursued his projects, his reputation enhanced by the encounter. The audience, the true winners, gained insight into celebrity interactions. Fan theories abounded, speculating on off-air conversations. The View's legacy as a platform for real talk was reinforced. Joy's eruption, born from humiliation, evolved into empowerment. Russell's brutal yet honest responses were lauded for integrity. The incident prompted policy reviews in talk shows industry-wide. Viewers reflected on their own reactions to conflict. Social media algorithms favored the clips, perpetuating the buzz. Joy authored a piece on the experience, sharing wisdom gained. Russell donated to causes discussed, turning words into action. The event's ripple effects touched education, with clips used in classrooms. Co-hosts bonded closer, supporting each other through scrutiny. Producers innovated, blending controversy with substance. Joy's fans multiplied, admiring her authenticity. Russell's films saw increased interest. The humiliation faded, replaced by mutual respect. Annual recaps featured the moment, keeping it alive. The View thrived, its formula proven. In the end, what began as a brutal clash ended in growth for all. The title Joy Behar Erupts live on. The View after Brutal Humiliation by Russell Crowe became synonymous with unforgettable TV. Lessons learned, words wield power, composure commands respect. The script of daytime drama continues, with Joy and Russell as starring players in media history. Audiences await the next chapter, hooked on the unpredictability,